Hello and welcome again to the People's Lawyer channel. This is part 7, Antidotes to Evil. It's the live in-person talk, Full Disclosure 2022. In Disclosure 2021, I think I had a definition of evil. For those of you who haven't seen 2021 Disclosure, Full Disclosure, evil was defined. I took the definition of Jeremy Locke in a book called The End of All Evil, and he defines evil as control, manipulation, control. Attempting power over another. The globalist agenda is the ultimate agenda in evil because it attempts to control us, control our minds, control our bodies, and ultimately control our souls. That's the end game, folks. It's the soul grab, the collective soul grab. So this is evil, and we're looking for antidotes to this mind, body, and soul power grab. That's what we're looking for. Your first remedy, your first antidote is value yourself. You've got clues now. You know who you are. You know you're a master. You know you're a sovereign asking the questions, not answering them. You know that you're a customer who's never wrong. You know that you're a beneficiary under supreme law and under their rules. Value yourself. Why else do you think they sent you to school to learn to value everything except yourself? Love yourself and stop acting small. Sometimes I write very strident notes to one or two of my friends, and one or two of them say, "That's arrogant." And I said, yeah, but arrogance is positive. Arrogance is you being big, but you are big. Pompous is when you are small but pretend to be big. Arrogance is simply being the big guy that you actually are. And you are only ever called arrogant by the small narcissist. No one who is being big would ever call you arrogant. They would just go, yeah, well done you, standing in your power. But at school, when you stood up for yourself, you were arrogant. If you got faulty parents, you stand up for yourself, you're arrogant. No, you're just being big in that moment. You are fulfilling yourself because you were born big. And ideally you'll die big. That's the purpose of life. To die at least as big as you were born, if not bigger. You are the universe in human form. We're fractal versions of the universe. You're not just part of creation, but creators of your own reality. When you are creating your own reality, you are offending the shit out of those who don't feel up to that job. Those are the ones that call you arrogant. Don't let them bring you back down to their level. Remember the difference. Pompous is small pretending to be big. They are pompous, these agents with their uniforms on and their flashy status cards. That's pompous. That can be pricked very easily. Your arrogance will trump their pomposity every single day of the week. Anyone who doesn't see that is still thinking that arrogance is a negative thing. That's because of indoctrination. I get it. If anything at all, it's the most positive, beautiful thing in the world. The one thing that is negative, like I said, is pomposity. Pretending to be something that you are not. That's pompous. In order to love who you are, you cannot hate the experiences that shaped you. We all think we've made terrible blunders and Humpty Dumpty mistakes. Well, they weren't mistakes, they were just learning opportunities. And if you're here, that means you were meant to be here. So all these learning experiences, you can collate them and take them forward. If they're very negative, just let them go. But we can't look back and go, oh, if only. Oh, I was so robbed. I was so... That's not what masters do. Masters move on. They take the lesson with them, reshape their future based on the lesson from the past. They don't dwell on the past. That's not what masters do. Look after the Holy Land. And we've looked at this briefly. So let's have a look at what it says. Know thy enemy. So the Holy Land is your whole being. Put on the full armour of God so that you will be able to stand firm against the schemes of the devil. I use the devil loosely. Satan, beast, it doesn't matter. Dark force, shadow, ego gone bananas. Doesn't matter. You have your own terminology. But we kind of all know what we mean. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the powers, against the world forces of this darkness, against the spiritual forces of wickedness in the heavenly places. This is the spiritual war to end all wars, folks. This is it. This is the big one. This is the war to preserve humanity's soul and its soul purpose and its soul journey. When you're fighting a war, you need to be well. No one goes off to war on one leg or on a stretcher. That's when you come back. But you don't go off to war on one leg or on a stretcher. So what we need to do is be mindful of how to be well or stay well. I've got 6 pillars of good health. One is breathe deeply. Learn how to breathe. Again, something else you're not taught in school. 2, drink pure living water. 3, eat organic and supplement. 4, detox and or fast. 5, exercise with a smile. I drive around a lot. See so many people who are jogging with pulling like, it's like they're eating lemon and they've got this grimace. That's just promoting cortisol, isn't it? Stress hormone. Whatever you do, it's got to be with a smile on your face. And 6, let go of negativity. So let's go through them one by one. Breathing deeply. 1 breath per minute is all you should be taking in. Not 1 per second. 1 per minute. 20 seconds to inhale, 20 seconds to hold, 20 seconds to let it out. Obviously, if you're on 20 a minute, you've got some work to do. If you're on 6 or 7 a minute, well done. That's pretty good. It takes 1 minute. And if you just practice 11 to 31 minutes, your blood itself will become a warrior against disease. Master your breath, master your mind. When we are able to slow the breath down to 1 breath per minute, we calm anxiety, fear and worry while integrating both hemispheres of the brain and open up to experiencing our spiritual nature. Intuition develops and we connect to a higher intelligence. An average person breathes 20 to 25 breaths a minute. That is just ridiculous. In good health, you breathe 10 breaths per minute. A mentally balanced person breathes 7 to 9 breaths per minute. Fewer than that and you are becoming pure light on your way to mastery. Mastery really starts in the breath, folks. Doesn't matter how much you know, but if you're hyperventilating, you're not in your mastery. So slow the breath down. Take it easy. If you're on 10, get to 9, then 8, and then 7, you know. Don't try and get from 10 to 1. It might turn blue. Number 2, drink pure living water. Well, you've got to detox your water first, so you've got to purify it, filter it. A big Berkey can do that job reasonably well. Doesn't take out everything. Distillation does take out everything, but then you've got to put things back. Then there's the eSpring filter that takes out quite a lot, more than the Berkey does. And then you're still not finished. Now you've got to make it alive with a structuring device. So you can use Tesla coils or spirals. Pureforwater.com is one place where I get some tubing that breathes life into water. So if you want to live to be 140, and once we've won this war, you will want to live to 140. At the moment, I could understand someone saying, no, I think 55 will do for me right now, actually. But you will get there if you are breathing correctly and drinking water. Pretty much all you need to do. The rest is just add-ons. Eat organic and supplements. That means eating less because it's harder and harder to find organic. Grow your own. Supplement. I'm not giving any medical advice. All I'm doing with this screen is telling you what I take. You take whatever you think is right, but this is what I take. B, C, D, K, zinc, magnesium, potassium, selenium, CoQ10, almost Dead Sea salts, systemic enzymes, tissue salts. Well, tissue salts, I'm not taking them yet, but I will be very soon. This will correct the imbalances from demineralized soil, denatured food in the food chain. This is not even a recommendation. I'm just telling you what I take. You take whatever you feel works best for you. The systemic enzymes are very interesting because that's how I've rejuvenated my flexibility. Joints, no stiffness now, nothing. So I've taken 20 years off my chronological age just on the systemic enzymes. And I was already doing well on water and breathing and all kinds of things. Detox and or fast. Again, not recommending any of these. I'm just telling you what I've done in the recent past. I've detoxed graphene oxide using nano clay. Bentonite clay would also work. I've detoxed radiation with iodine. I am currently detoxing heavy metal with silica. And I generally detox by intermittent fasting, 14 to 18 hours a day, no food. Every day. 7-ish till 11-ish. I've got my own 7-11 going on. 7 in the evening till 11 next day, or 6, 12. No food, just liquid. And then once in a while I throw in a 1, 2, 3 or 4 day fast to top all that up. 1, 2, 3 or 4 day fast. Quick run through what intermittent fasting does. After 90 minutes, blood glucose levels peak. How high it spikes depends entirely on what you last ate. So choose your final meal carefully. That's after 90 minutes. After 4 hours, all food has left your stomach. Your body is done producing insulin and your blood sugar levels drop. After 10 to 12 hours, your digestive system goes to sleep. All food is now digested and your body shifts focus onto other necessary functions. After 14 to 16 hours, human growth hormones begin to increase. Glucose levels are now depleted and your fat stores unlock. After 18 hours, ketone levels spike, signifying a dramatic switch as your body begins using your existing fat stores for energy. And after 24 hours, your body is in full-on healing mode. Damaged cells and protein waste are broken down and recycled for energy. There's a lot of fuss being made about all kinds of countermeasures to the toxins that they're throwing at us. To be honest, living water, better breathing and fasting, you're done. And if you've still got deficiencies, sort out the deficiencies. But you're pretty much done. Your body is an amazing self-healing machine, but you've got to just give it time and space. Exercise with a smile, that kind of speaks for itself. Let go negativity. Don't take negativity around with you. Forgive others, forgive self. There's a lot of people in the freedom movement still got trouble with our shadow, throwing negative slurs at other people. What's the point in that? How are we going to co-create the beautiful earth that we deserve to live on if we're having these slagging matches and creating petty grudges? Forgive others, forgive self, let go. Just let it go. Before forgiving, that rope has got a knot in it. After forgiving, it's now fully functional. So when you forgive, you're not doing the third party a favour. You're doing you a favour. Your life can now run more smoothly when you let go and forgive. Got nothing to do with them. Well, indirectly it may have, but you are the one that wants a healed life. An unhealed person can find offence in pretty much anything someone does or says in this day and age. A healed person understands that the actions of others have absolutely nothing to do with them. Nothing whatsoever. It's like the 4 Toltec agreements. One of them is don't take anything personally. When an agent comes to the door, they're not coming to your door, they're coming to a door that happens to have you behind it. Like when the teacher punished you for speaking out of turn. She wasn't punishing you, she was just picking on you because it happened to be you that spoke out of turn. And she needs, or he needs, to restore law and order. Fulfill yourself. Humans weren't made to sit at a desk 9 till 5. Well, these days it's more like 7 till 7. Come home every night to watch Netflix. Explore the world for only 2 weeks out of the year on these Torremolinos or Mallorca holidays. Have zero creativity. Leave all the creativity to the celebs. Have every single aspiration beaten out of them. There's so much more to life. Find your Ikigai. This is a Japanese concept. It means soul or life purpose. We're all born with a passion, even if it's a passion for doing absolutely bugger all. That's a Zen quality. Doing nothing is genius. Do nothing. And certainly don't allow anyone else to make you believe that doing nothing is wrong. It can't be wrong. Do nothing. It could be your purpose. Or whatever it is, build up the skill. Keep the passion. We all have a passion. When we were 5, 6 or 7, we all had a passion for lots of things. And mysteriously 10 years later, all those passions were forgotten, beaten out of us. If you maintain that interest in your passions and learn the skills that go with the passion, that can become your true vocation. If people see the value in it, they'll invite you to do it. That's your mission. And finally, they may even reward you in some way, in some tangible way that can become your unique contribution. Bring in your future self. Be fully present. So again, this Humpty Dumpty thing where we've got our bits lying on the floor, pick them up, put them together and just stay in your center. There is the master there. All the bits are in the right place. That's healing. Healing is no more or less than picking up your bits and your bobs and putting them where God intended them to be put. That's it. That's all it is. There's no magic to it. It's just picking up. So hurts, let them go. Joy, keep them. Passion, keep it. Breathing, slow it down. Thinking, slow it down. Bring in your future self, which is the one that we're aiming to bring in to anchor the frequencies that are coming through to this planet. Our future self, however amazing we are now, just think how amazing your future self is. Just ponder that one while you're breathing in once per minute. Your future self is amazing, and it doesn't matter what your chronological age is. If you wake up to your true potential, your future self can live for decades longer than you've been led to believe. Be fully present. Looking too much at the past is a recipe for depression and despair. Looking too much at the future is a recipe for anxiety, nervousness. So be in the present. Observe what's going on. Find the interest in it. Find any potential relevance to you and your life. But don't buy too much into it, especially if it is not an agenda that suits your personal or communal interests. And avoid bypassing. Now, bypassing is when the yogis say, I'm all right because I meditate. Really. During the so-called lockdown, I had a group of yogis call me urgently. So these are meditators. They're not like formal yogis on the mountains. They just do a lot of meditation and yoga. And they thought that they could just sit in a circle, breathe deeply, and all this nonsense would pass them by. And I tried to warn them. I said, that's not how it works. And sure enough, they all got arrested for running a meditation during lockdown. And they were all called into the police station. And I went as their representative and told them how to operate. And no harm was done. I said, they're going to offer you a contract. Respectfully decline it. And that's what they did. So when the officer came in, he actually said, would you take this off me? Which was a notice of fine for COVID non-compliance. No, thank you. And the officer goes, oh, okay. You know, he didn't actually say that, but you could see that he knew he was attempting some kind of incitement or entrapment that was not going to wash with someone like me present. He didn't know back in there. I don't even think I was the people's lawyer then. I just knew more than they did. Bypassing is when you think you can wish the future into your life. That's not how it works. You step into the future. It's a stepping stone. It's not a magic carpet. The future comes incrementally, and those increments must be interconnected. You take your consciousness and you develop it, evolve it, piece by piece. You don't just go wake up, oh, I'm healed. I'm an ascended master because my breathing is down to 1 a minute and my thoughts are clear. Well, good for you. But it doesn't bring in the future. It's great for the present moment, but bypassing means that you're trying to operate in the present from the future. You're getting the wires crossed. That's what I'm trying to say. And you're saying things like, well, I do my mantras and my affirmations every day, so I'm all right. I can pull the spiritual ladder up. Well, no. That doesn't wash with me. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but what I'm saying is that it doesn't bring in the future that you desire. That action has to be taken that's coherent with your passions, desires, your heart. And it's the heart brings in the future. It's not the head. So that's another thing that we could say about bypassing. It's using the head to bypass the heart. Let go of the 3 real fears. There's a lot of fake fears knocking around, but the real fears are cold water, death, and pain or sickness. Those are the real fears. Babies are only born with 2 fears, fear of noise and fear of falling. But as we grow up, we somehow develop cold water, death, and pain or sickness. Let go of those and you are less vulnerable to attack. Become fearless about pain. Not bothered about being arrested. They're not going to hurt you if you go peacefully. When I was arrested, I went into bliss. Sat in the back of the van, blissful. Breathing once per minute. Actually, I think I hyperventilated. I was up to 2 or 3 times a minute, I'm sure it was. I thought, I'm walking my talk now, I'm being arrested. This is right. So I'm staying calm, loving it, every minute of it. I was a bit miffed that I couldn't be out there speaking to the assembled masses. So get rid of the fear, all the real fears that they can use over your head, like a sword of Damocles. The pain will leave once it has finished teaching you. So if you do suffer any pain, remember, it's a teacher. Those are the only real teachers, the pain episodes. We've got to learn from the pain, whatever pain that is. Do some reprogramming. Remember, you are the law, you're the master. Say that to yourself. It says here 5 times a day. You are the value, you're the beneficiary. Say that to yourself every day, at least 5 times a day. And you are the truth. You are truth. And when you reprogram yourself, the law of attraction kicks in and you'll start to attract people who are equally lawful, valuable and truthful. Did you know you can rewire your brain to be happy by simply recalling 3 things you're grateful for every day for 21 days? I started doing this, but then I forgot. After day 3, I thought, sod it. Day 4, I just knew there's something I needed to do today. 3 mantras of gratitude for 21 days, 1 set of 3 every day, and you're rewiring your brain to be more happy and more content. And the universe is listening to you. If you're happy for what you have, it gives the universe permission to give you more. Be conscious of the power of I am. The English language is so deceptive. I am. Well, you're co-creating your own reality when you say I am, but make sure that you don't qualify it. And certainly not negatives like tired, frustrated, pissed off. I am. 2 of the most powerful words in existence. For what you put after them, you become. So be very conscious of what you say after you start a phrase with I am. So what I recommend to avoid this problem and this pitfall, I feel. I feel disappointed. I feel put out. I feel tired. I feel. You're not creating a reality. You're observing on a reality that's just about to come and go. See the difference? If you say I am, you're co-creating a reality that you don't want. The antidote to mass formation: develop the courage to avoid compliance. So this is where you do become at least partially visible. It's good to be non-compliant and invisible, but it's even better to be non-compliant and visible. Remember that compliance is collaboration. Individual non-compliance, like you just return their post or mail. Collective non-compliance, civil disobedience. They've taken the foot off their accelerator, so we don't have any immediate need to be civilly disobedient. But if we're not paying our taxes or bills, sending their mail back, putting in our own meters, working fewer hours for the beast, and eventually coming out of the beast system, that's a good start. Because when you create more time for you and your true brothers and sisters, then you are not supporting or feeding the beast. And you're being more coherent with your love of freedom and sovereignty. Sovereigns don't have a job. They work. See the difference? Freedom lovers don't have a job. They work. Huge difference. If you do have a job, you give your termination notice, you continue as an independent contractor. Then you've got at least half your sovereignty back, maybe more. Now you work according to your own terms and conditions. Civil disobedience is not our problem. Our problem is civil obedience. Well, this is the hypnotized group and the demoralized group. Our problem is that people all over the world have obeyed the dictates of leaders. Millions have been killed because of this obedience. Our problem is that people are obedient all over the world in the face of poverty, starvation, stupidity, war and cruelty. Our problem is that people are obediently filling our jails full of petty thieves while the grand thieves are running the country. That's our problem. Larkin Rose, who's a great freedom lover and calls out statism as he calls it, has said, I'm not scared of the Maos, Stalins and Hitlers. I'm scared of the thousands of millions of people that hallucinate them to be authority and so do their bidding and pay for their empires and carry out their orders. I don't care if there's one loony with a stupid moustache. He's not a threat if the people do not believe in authority. Robert Kennedy Jr. said, I love this quote, nobody ever complied their way out of tyranny. Thank you very much for tuning in. That's the end of part 7, Antidotes to Evil. Stay tuned for part 8, which is the future. Thank you very much.